everybody. Welcome to It Was Tuesday, and I am your host, James Chen, aka Jay Chenzor. Obviously, the big talk in town right now is Terry Bogard. Last week, we went over his gameplay guide in anticipation of his release basically today, but you know, midnight releases and everything like that, so everybody was messing with him all last night, including myself. One of the first time I've actually really had the opportunity to sit down and lab a character on their release, so I've gotten a pretty good idea of how Terry is right now. So let's just go ahead and talk about Terry in the initial impressions of this character. When we all watched the gameplay guide, when people tried him out at like TwitchCon and stuff like that, everyone's like, oh god, it's happening again. Like Akuma came out and everyone's like, oh, and we started to see a lot of Akumas show up. And then Bison, we saw it and we were like, oh my god, Bison looks ridiculous. And he came out and he's like everywhere in tournaments. Like you just see Bison everywhere all over the place. Though people have pointed out, very interestingly enough, that Bison has yet to win a big giant tournament by himself. The closest is Shanghai winning EWC, but he also used a lot of Chen. And he still does have a pocket Cammy, and he said he's going to keep all three of them. So Bison's not even good enough for Shanghai to use exclusively Bison. So that's a little interesting thing, a little interesting thought out there. But in any case, when Terry came out, something else is playing in the background. It is Terry and Ken yapping away at each other. I'm just gonna mute it right now because they are just talking to each other all day. So I'll mute them right now. But Terry, when we all saw that gameplay trailer, we're like, oh god, here we go. It's happening again, right? And if you look at it right now, like someone's like, man, Capcom's just trying to make you pay for their DLC because all their DLC are super strong. I was like, it's not true. It's not like Rashid and Ed and Aki and Akuma and Bison and oh god. I was like, oh god. No, but I mean, I also think that it's just that, you know, they're really good at making their DLC. And to be perfectly fair, even though a lot of those characters are very strong, Rashid, Akuma, Ed, and Bison in particular, they're not so egregiously strong that I feel like that they're ruining the game, right? The reason why we see a proliferation of Bisons, as I said to Big Bird on Twitter, you know, he was saying like, you know, why are people complaining about Rashid? There's Bisons everywhere. And my response to him was, I really think a lot of it is because Bison is easy to use. He has no decisions to be made. Like, do you want to pester people? Hit standing medium kick, do light scissor kick, right? And every time you plant a Psycho Mine on some, like combo into Psycho Mine, now try to hit them. Or take advantage of the plus frames from the Psycho Mine. And repeat. Like, there's no decisions to be made. I've said, like, if there's a true way to balance Bison, is to make it so that if you juggle with the Psycho Mine, he gets no Oki. Like, the opponent just gets up right away. Or when he hits it, like, he has to do some animation to plant the bomb. And so then he's just like Manon and Jamie and Lily, who have to decide whether they want to build their resource or keep attacking you, right? So does Bison want to go ahead and plant the bomb and now not have Oki, and now he's got to it's a little harder for him to pay off the bomb? Like, I think that would actually probably be the fairest fix to Bison. But again, I personally don't even think Bison's top 5 in the game right now. And I know a lot of people think I'm crazy, and I'm going to hear it in the chat, in the YouTube chat over here. People are going to be like, he's not what? You what? And again, I think it's because he's very strong, but he's also egregiously easy to use. I mean, L.I. Joe said he got to master with Bison in like an hour and a half, right? Like I said, as soon as I saw the character, I was like, any top player can get Bison to master with only throw, stand, medium kick, and light scissor kick. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Just those 3 moves. If you took away everything else, a top player can get to master with Bison that way. Like, free. Like, it's just, he's so straightforward. And he tells you what you're supposed to do. He guides you so well. And so the proliferation of Bison isn't that I think he's top tier. The proliferation of Bison, I think, is that he is very good. He's clearly top 10, no question about that. And he's super easy to pilot because, like I said, there are no decisions to be made. He doesn't leave you in a position where you're like, what should I do? Like, I need to get out of the corner. Let me try to head stomp out of the corner. I'm a screen away. How do I get in? Let me try this psycho, the shadow rise into something. And I've got mix-ups that I can slide over here. Like, everything is like laid out for you with this character. So, to be fair, I wouldn't even necessarily say any of these DLC characters are egregiously strong. And so when we actually saw the gameplay trailer last week, it was like, oh my God, Terry is going to be broken and he's going to be busted. And then he came out, and I started messing with him in training mode, and the first thought to my mind was, wow, he's not broken. he's not going to be crazy. He's going to be clearly strong, but I don't think he's going to be the guy who's going to come in and affect the meta as much as we thought. Because he is not as gimmicky. He will require you decent fundamentals, although his normals are hella good. So you're going to be able to play him really well from that standpoint. But he doesn't have a lot of obvious things. And a lot of the tools that we saw in the gameplay trailer, they never covered the tool's weaknesses. Like, they looked crazy. Like, he had that lane shift move, and you're like, what the hell? This lane shift move looks crazy. And you could even lane shift into nothing and be safe from DPs. If they try to perfect parry your attack, you can just whiff and then throw them and all this stuff. You're like, oh my God, this thing's crazy. Then you find out you can't actually lane shift on block. You can't lane shift on block. And it's minus 12. And it's minus 12. So here, I'll show you this. Normally, if you hit them, you can do this cool lane shift mechanic here and do some cool stuff here. I can, whoa, what side am I going to be on? Am I going to be on this side? Am I going to be on that side? Am I going to do nothing? Am I going to whiff on purpose over here so I can throw you? He's like, oh my God, it's so good. And then, you just put Ken on block and... Like, when is this going to happen? You're minus 12 on this. Like, if this was minus 3, I can understand you fishing with this, but this is literally minus 12. When are you going to use this? The only time you can use this is if you know you're going to hit with standing medium punch, and if you know if you're going to hit with standing medium punch, why would you do this on hit? Why would you do this on hit when you could actually do something like, like do some crazy combos? There's definitely a lot of very, very much better things to do. So the best use I've seen out of this is that. That's the best use that I've seen out of this, right? It's a side switch. Like, that's what you do. You side switch, and then you get to keep going with pressure over here. That's the number one use that I've seen for that move. But outside of that, it's like, it's not even particularly strong. Okay, but let's go over the things that are really strong with Terry, right? Okay, I'm not going to sit here and do the combo thing where I get stuck trying to do a combo all day. Just know that this guy does tons of damage. He's just like Akuma and Bison in the exact same way. He can dish out like 6,000 damage. Optimal combos are like 6,900 that you basically will never, ever really, really see. Basically, what do you mean by corner escape, JV? On hit? Yeah, on hit off of this. But like I said, if on block, you can't get out of the corner. Just nothing works that way, right? But the best things about Terry right now are going to be his buttons. His standing medium kick is really, really strong. And to put it into perspective, one of the things that I like to do in this game now is I like to do comparative stuff. His standing medium kick is really strong. I tested it in comparison to Cammy's standing medium kick. They are virtually the same range. So what Terry can do with his standing medium kick is about the same thing as what Cammy can do with hers. Bison standing medium kick, for example, still has eons more range than Terry. But also, Bison standing medium kick is exceptionally far. But yes, this is a good button. Cannot be canceled, so can be drive impacted, and it's still minus on block. crouching medium kick is very strong, and his sweep is very good. His sweep has such good range that most of the time people can't actually hit him back. And these are just great buttons to have, right? These are just absolute, like, you can play neutral with Terry in the most fundamental way humanly imaginable. And in fact, when most people asked me yesterday when I was streaming, they were like, so how does Terry feel? Does he feel like Fatal Fury? And I said, no. He feels exactly like a Street Fighter 6 character. I was like, this guy might be more Street Fighter 6 than a lot of the other Street Fighter 6 characters, you know? Oh, yeah. But like I said, on hit, you would use it. But see, this is the thing. Like, if on hit, without the actual, like, let's say I want to get out of the corner this way, like this, you know, I'll do this, and that's nice. I get out of the corner, but I have to know it's going to hit, because if I'm guessing, I'm going to be minus 12 and die. So if I know this is going to hit, you're not going to use this for side switch, because you probably have a much better combo to do as a side switch, right? So I don't know if this combo, oh yeah, see, that combo's right there, right? I can just do this, and now I'm totally out of the corner or whatever, right? Or I can even just do like, burn knuckle, and now I'm out of the corner, right? Like, there's so many better things to do, in my opinion, than this to get out of the corner if you know standing medium punch is gonna hit. And that's the thing. So far as we can tell, there's no difference between the two pillars. So the pillar, Power Geyser, is 2 quarter circle backs plus punch. And then you could extend it with 3 punches. Why didn't that work? There we go. And then extend it to the 3rd hit. But there's an alternate input where you can use the old SNK code, which is quarter circle back, half circle forward, plus medium kick and heavy punch. And then he does the same move, but now you can see it looks different. It goes straight up as opposed to diagonal. And from what everybody's tested, it's the exact same thing. Why is it not coming out? What am I doing wrong? Well, oh, because it has to hit him, of course. That's right, it has to hit. And that's the only way you get the follow-up. So there you go. So yeah, so basically, Terry's good things are going to be these, and the fact that he has great damage output. Other nice things is that OD Fireball is going to be so strong, because you're going to be able to do classic Street Fighter 6 Fireball drive rush shenanigans. But again, this is what I mean. He feels like the ultimate Street Fighter 6 character, right? He's got all the Street Fighter 6-y things. He's even got an ODDP and everything like that. So, you know, looking at this, you're like, of course he's going to be really strong. But the thing about it is, like I said, he doesn't have a lot of gimmicks, right? I mean, that's one overhead. This is also an overhead. But I feel like once we get used to it, it's not going to be so bad. He can't even technically do a normal throw loop like this. You actually have to dash to do his throw loop, like so. You can do it by walking, but it is exactly 1 frame. It is exactly 1 frame window to beat a crouching light punch. And so, you know, he's not a character. He's going to be good. Again, he's going to be very, very, very good. But he's not going to, like I said with Bison, he's not going to tell you how to play him. You still are going to have to play good neutral with him. You're still going to have to know when to use these tools. Yes, Burn Knuckles can be plus on block. That one was not. Thankfully, they added the screen shake animation to know. There it is. So if you block this like this, that's no screen shake. That's no screen shake. At the start of the round it is. So screen shake, I'm +1. Same thing with the heavy Burn Knuckle. Screen shake, I'm +4. Right, so there's easy ways to tell that, but if you see that coming from you at a screen away and you don't drive impact or something like that, I don't know what you're doing. Is this a space trap? Not a space trap, but it's a frame trap. It's a frame trap, so if they mash a button in between, they will get hit, but there's no reason to mash a button in between. You know, I mean, I guess unless you don't want them to do that, but that's -14, and he can't even go into the burn knuckle afterwards. And then if he goes into that one, which is the sway thing, that's minus 12. So I don't know why you'd want to try to interrupt him after he presses this. You're better off just kind of blocking, unless that lets him get away with doing stupid things like this, because you're not, you don't know when is he going, like, oh my god, I'm not going to press a button because I can punish all of these. So then Terry can steal turns by doing this, but that's a whole nother story, and that's not necessarily the greatest thing. The other biggest weakness of Terry is that literally as a character with plus moves, he's in the same camp as Ken. Which doesn't mean anything because Ken is also super, super strong. But Terry has no plus normals, right? He's minus, 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 minus. They're all minus. Even his forward heavy punch overhead, which is his only command normal, is minus. The only plus normal move that he has, as someone was trying to point out to me, is actually this. So that's, that was minus 2. What the heck? Is it this one? Why did that miss? What the hell? Oh, there it is. So that's plus 3. There you go. So it's only the punch one here. Why is that missing? Oh, you know why? Oh, God, I'm an idiot. Oh, that's really interesting. I keep hitting the buttons too early, and I keep hitting the 2 buttons at the same time, like I'm trying to manually activate the lane shift, but it just happens automatically. So if you follow up with the punch, that's plus on block. But again, when is that ever going to happen? Because the only time you can take advantage of that is if you know standing medium punch is going to hit, and if you know standing medium punch is going to hit, why would you do this to get plus frames for pressure? Like, why would you do that, right? Like, if you know the medium punch is going to hit. So it's really interesting, right? So how would Terry and Jury's ground waves affect each other's strategy, considering their fireballs are both ground waves that clash? They would play more like regular fireball characters. They would play more like regular fireball characters fighting each other, because they would just trade fireballs all day. So they could actually play fireball wars with each other, which is kind of funny. But yeah, so again, he has literally no plus frames. So every time he presses a button and you're blocking, it's your turn. Like, it's your turn. And in fact, at point blank range, the only thing Terry has that's plus is round wave, which is quarter circle forward plus heavy punch. Now, it's very plus. It's plus 5. And on meaty situations, you can get it super plus. So you're like, that's really cool. Well, the problem is it has 29 frames of startup. You cannot frame trap somebody with this move. There is literally no way to frame trap anybody with this move. So the first hit of standing heavy punch, it has 21 frames of block stun, right? Crouching fierce has 20 frames of block stun. This is 16. This is 16. And the first hit, like I said, is 21. There we go. Second hit is 20 frames. And so the startup of this thing is 29. So 21 frames of block stun into 29 leaves a gap of 8 frames in there. So you could always interrupt it. Okay, well, just drive rush into it then. All right, 21 was the biggest one that I can find. Drive rush, first hit heavy punch, round wave, still a 4-frame gap. Now, obviously, the opponent has to guess whether you're going to round wave or not. But in other words, this is basically stealing turns. The way that you're going to land this in any sort of block string is by stealing turns. But outside of that, when you are close up with Terry, you have no way to be plus on block. You cannot be plus on block. The only other things that are plus on block are max range burn knuckles. So literally max range burn knuckles and round wave. And of course, fireballs, because reasons, right? Because fireballs can always be plus because you can do that. OD fireball is also really good for that, right? I can be plus forever. But keep in mind, point blank OD fireball is still minus 2. This is still minus 2. This is still minus 8. This move right here, even though it has 5 active frames, can never be plus. Even if you hit on the very last active frame, if I'm not mistaken, it's still -5. So basically, Terry has no ways to be plus. And again, neither does Ken. Does Ken look like he's sad? Not really. Ken seems like he's pretty happy. So again, Terry is clearly going to be very strong. In fact, is he going to be as strong as Ken? Probably. He'll probably be in that same range, but very few people are calling Ken the problem right now, right? Everyone's complaining about Rashid and Ed and Bison and Akuma right now. In fact, Ken's the worst Shoto in the game, right? So again, he's not going to be free. So like if I'm Terry right here and I want to get in, right? These are going to see, like I didn't even do it right. That was -3. I was too close, right? So now I'm plus. So see, it's like that means if Terry gets into this position where he can actually burn knuckle you like that, right? What do? You actually, what do? You actually just wait for it and drive impact it, right? Because I don't think that there's anything he can do. Even if I do it hella early, I'm still getting hit by that. Look at this. I'm doing it like, I'm doing it at like the height of his jump. I'm sitting diagonal, sorry. So you can still drive impact it. So you can drive impact hella late. And you can still blow it up, right? So let's actually do it as late as possible here. Let's see. How do I simulate that? I would have to do like that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you can still hit him with that, right? So again, there's like, it's an interesting situation. So like, what does exactly Terry do to get in on his opponents? He has no real neutral skip except for this. This is his best neutral skip, right? Or this, right? This is his best neutral skip. And so he's not going to be, but like a lot of characters can do that. A lot of characters can do. Aki can do that, right? Aki's doing that all over the place. So again, there's nothing that stands out to me right now for Terry that is, I consider dangerous. And if you actually, I talked to Justin yesterday on his stream, and he was like, yeah, Terry's kind of boring. And then I saw some other top player was like, yeah, Punk was like, I think Terry's mid. So a lot of people are really not all that high up on Terry right now. He's not bad, though. Like, you remember how in the past few weeks I've actually said that there's the upper tier and the lower tier, right? So 2/3 of the cast are in the upper tier, 1/3 of the cast in the lower tier. Like, is Terry in the upper tier? Yeah. Does he have potential to be like legit top 10? Yeah. Clearly, this character is very, very strong. Will we see a Terry win a tournament? Probably. Will Terry dominate the meta? I don't think so. A lot of people are comparing him to Luke, because Luke is kind of the same thing, right? Luke, Fireball, DP, very strong, very solid. Pre-patch, I should say, because he did get buffed, but pre-Terry patch. But people stopped playing Luke. And so at the same time, I don't know if Terry is going to get that kind of play. Daigo tried Terry for a bit and went back to Akuma. So there you go. Terry's drive impact is the same as everybody else's. Like, it's good range. It's decent range. Most characters have pretty decent range on their drive impacts, right? So like, okay, so I can get you from there. Okay, so his is a little further range than I guess you could call a standard drive impact. So really what's going to come down to is a lot of the other moves here, right? So standing light punch. How good is standing light punch for Terry, right? It's okay. Ken's standing light punch and Terry's standing light punch are almost exactly the same range from my tests, right? So like if I do this, okay, that hit right there. So now I'm back to whiffing here, and I slightly move Ken forward into hits. See, so Terry and Ken's standing light punches are about the same range, which to say is not as good as Cammy. Not as good as Cammy. For me, Cammy is the standard bearer of standing light punches. I think she has the best standing light punch in the game. And why do I think that? Because she has the best standing light punch in the game. Like, don't even try to pretend she doesn't have the best standing light punch in the game, okay? Her standing light punch is ridiculous. Whoops. Oops, I accidentally killed the safe. Oh, no. Okay. Oops. Oh, well, hang on a second. Let's see. Maybe I'm wrong about Cammy. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Because I tested her and Ken before, and I know that she has a farther one than Ken. So this is actually surprising to me. Huh, interesting. Okay. So he might still have the same one as Cammy over here. Oh, no, there you go. Okay, perfect right there. So not a huge difference, obviously, but Cammy definitely has a farther standing light punch. And then the other thing too is that on no block, that's +4. So on counter hit, it's +6. So he does get this, but not from the same ranges that Cammy is gonna get it, basically, because Cammy gets it like at like ranges like beyond stupidity, right? And that's one of the things that makes Cammy's standing jab so strong. Terry's gonna be able to get it at a lot of ranges, but there are ranges where it's gonna miss, like this, right? And like I said, whereas Cammy is just like yoink, yoink. It just works, right? And so, yeah, and, well, no, Terry's is 4 frames as well. They're both 4 frames. They're both 4 frames. Chun-Li's is almost as good as, I think it's a little worse than, I mean, she might have a Terry jab, to be honest with you. It'll be interesting to find out, actually, here. I always put Chun-Li as second best, for obvious reasons as well, so. And also, by the way, if you have no scientific information, this is the best way to test it, okay? This is kind of a shitty way to test it, but it is the best that I can do right now, so leave me alone. Yeah, so her and Cammy are going to be just about the same. So they're all kind of in the same place. However, one of the biggest advantages that Cammy also has is her standing light kick. She has clearly one of the best standing light kicks in the game. This time I know that's fact, right? That's absolute fact. And Terry's standing light kick is not as good as Cammy's standing light kick. So he's going to have a little bit, he's not going to be able to pressure with this as easily as Cammy can, right? See, it's not even hard to get into those ranges where Terry can't hit and Cammy can. So, like we're here, and then Cammy's like, wait, hang on. There you go. So like that, right? And Cammy can hit you there. So again, like even from a normal standpoint, Terry he may have one of the best combination of normals that are all just slightly less than everybody else's, than the longest one. But if you have everything at A+ and none of them as S, but everything is A+, like you're fine. You've got a great jab, you've got a great light kick, great medium kick, a great crouching medium kick. He may have an S+ sweep, actually. This might be one of the best sweeps in the game. Also, from my tests, Terry's light kick has about the same range as Kimberly's light kick. Standing fierce is pretty decent just because, it's only -1 on block. And nice thing is that it's very hit confirmable because it's 2 hits, so you can fish with this move and not be worried about dying. Ew, dude, even on 1 hit, it's -1? Yo, that's crazy. That's really interesting. -1, and even on 1 hit, it's -1. Oh, because I'm only hitting with the second one, not only hitting with the first one. I thought I was only hitting with the first one. I'm only hitting with the second one. Okay, got it. That's why it's the same data. But yeah, so he's got great buttons. This is a wonderful punish counter, by the way. Moves forward, very good. And in the corner, if you punish counter people, you can basically murder them in terms of damage. you can do all sorts of crazy stuff on them in the corner over here. Like if you actually land a standing heavy kick, you've got all sorts of things. Trust me, you've got crazy stuff that you can do over there. So again, overall, like Terry is like the character that's all A plus, but I don't think he's S at anything. So is he going to be one of the best characters in the game? He will be a very strong character game. I don't think he's going to be broken. And again, one of the hardest things about not having a walk up throw loop is that, oops, it's a punish counter there. Let's turn that off. One thing that's hard about not having this is that, like, oh, I just got it on the actually perfect frame. So I made it look, you have to walk forward exactly 20 frames to get this throw loop. Otherwise, you do not get the throw loop. If you walk forward 19 frames, 21 frames, doesn't work. Has to be exactly 20 frames like that. And so it's really hard to get that, right? But of course you can always dash up and, throw them like that for the throw loop. But like Jury, the biggest weakness of that is that if the opponent likes to throw fast, so like let's even delay the throw by like 3 frames, or let's do the throw by 4 frames over here. If I throw you and you see that she gets up and whiffs a throw like that, if I dash forward and try to shimmy, I can't get away. Now, obviously, if they throw a little bit later, I can get away. And if I just go for the regular throw here, I can do that. The best you can do, like Jury, is the backdash like this and then punish, with this chain into something, etc., which is a good way to do it. You can also dash up and light crack shoot like this, but your reward is so small for doing that. So again, the reason why this is significant is because if Terry wants to shimmy you, he's going to backdash. And like Jury, if you think they're going to shimmy, you don't have to guess with a wake-up low forward. You can kind of react to seeing them backdash and chase their backdash with your crouching medium kick and hit them, etc., etc. So yeah, a lot of things are very strong with this character. A lot of things are okay, right? But I don't think he's going to be broken. He's going to be very good. We'll see a lot of Terrys in tournaments. But I just don't think he's going to be like Bison or Akuma. Like Bison or Akuma clearly have a lot of very strong things about him. The one thing I will say about Terry, though, is the damage output that he has, once again, obfuscates the existence of Marisa, which makes me extremely sad because his damage output is so high, just like Akuma, just like Bison, that what's even the point of, whoops, what was that? What did I do? What's even the point anymore of Marisa? Like, what's her specialty now? She really doesn't have any specialty anymore. Like, I feel so bad for her. Like, you picked her because she was a character who could actually do like 7k damage, and now like all 3 of these characters can do that. And in fact, most characters can. As I've said in another stream, most characters can 2-touch you to death, right? If they have all their resources, they can do one thing and then make you guess and then kill you, right? So what good is it that if Marisa does 7,000, let's even make it better for her. Let's say she does 7,500 damage, right? So let's say she does 7,500 damage on the regular, and then she can do a very easy 4,000 damage combo. Well, that's overkill, but that kills everybody. But why is that better than someone who can do 6,000 damage and 4,000 damage, who will kill the same 10,000 health characters in 2 touches, right? Like, what difference is it if it's 60,000 and 40,000, or some say 6,000 and 4,000 and 7,500 and 4,000, or 7,500 and 5,000? It makes no, like, it doesn't matter. They still can 2-touch kill you. So I just feel like Marisa, just like the more this game goes on, the less that she really doesn't have. And yeah, I kind of want her to have a 100% damage combo. I said that in my previous stream. Like, I would be okay if she had all the resources and somehow could do like full charge Gladius pow punish counter. Like, if you whiff a DP on her and she has all her meters, you're dead. Like, I'm okay with that almost. I'm kind of okay with that. Yeah, I mean, having it so that she has a touch of death on just Akuma, like giving her a 9,000 damage combo, that would be great too, because even if it doesn't kill them, now they're just one throw away from death, right? So that would actually be good. Like, that's the only way to make Marisa's intended strength to really shine, is to make it so that she deletes you like you can't imagine. Why not delete other characters' damage instead? Yeah, that's absolutely another way to do it, right? That's absolutely another way to do it. I mean, that's what they just did to Zangief, right? They hurt Zangief's damage a little bit, which kind of sucks, but yeah, you can definitely lower other characters' damage for sure, for sure. And that's probably the best way to do it, honestly. But it's tricky because the way the scaling in this game is really weird. However, because the scaling in this game is so intricate, it's very easy for them to control damage in this game. So I think that, yeah, they could definitely do it, for sure, for sure. I'm on serious copium that DI needs to be 2 stocks if you want lowered damage output. You mean just raw DI instead of 1, it drains 2 blocks? I mean, the thing about it is, at the highest levels, Sora, you don't see drive impacts that much. Now, having said that, would I like it that if you get bounced into the wall on a drive impact, that they add a lot more scaling like they do for perfect parries? Yeah, I kind of would like that, but that's also because I die to drive impacts very badly. So of course I want that, but you know, man, I get so sad when I die to these things. Oh, man. Okay, anyways, so yeah, I don't, again, the thing that makes me the most sad is that these characters are leaning towards this kind of huge damage output. For one, with Terry, I don't know how often we're going to see a lot of those things. A lot of them, those setup startups are a little less realistic, but we're going to see it. Like, you block someone's DP in the corner, you know, and Terry has all of his resources, you can literally kiss like 6,500 life goodbye. Like, he will murder you with only like 2 supers. He will do a ton of damage, and it's really crazy. So yeah, he has a good burnout sequence. There are weaknesses to it. People have pointed out that if you are burned out, here, I'll show you guys now, just because otherwise people are gonna be like, how do I get out of here? And since hopefully a lot of people early on will watch this, they'll want to know how this works over here. So let's actually get you crouching here. So low jab, as you can, low jab, as you can see, is +3. Low strong is 6 frames. So low jab into low strong only leaves a 2-frame gap, so you cannot jab in between those two. Low strong into light crack shoot is a true block string. And I'm +1 in this situation, which means low jab wins, you know. So actually, I think you can do medium crack shoot here. Yeah, see, medium crack shoot only even gives 1 space there, and it keeps you going forward. So this is the sequence that a lot of Terrys are doing. But as you can see, he does push himself out eventually, you know, so you have to switch to like a heavy crack shoot to sneak back in there. Like that, basically. So you can sneak in there every once in a while. However, someone did point out that if you block like, let's test this. So let's do 4. Let's see if I can actually make this work. If you block 4 stuff, yeah, here we go. So let's record. What is this? What is that? What is 58 over here? What is this replay over here? Does this do anything? Oh, I have it on 4. So let's do this. She did nothing. All right, so I can, let me record over this really quick. So basically, slot 1 is 58. So let's start recording here. Let's do this on input over here. So let's record this and just have her walk backwards like this. So what we're going to do here is we're going to set her to block 4 things and then walk backwards. So basically, oh, okay, so not yet, not quite there. But, you know, like on the second loop here, like if you stand up, you will actually cause like the strong to whiff, right? Someone pointed that out, that once he starts pushing himself out a little bit, just make sure you stand up to get out of there. But otherwise, it's going to be just like everybody else, that, you know, you just wait, and eventually, see, like that, you just get out of there. So eventually you can get out of there. But however, you know, the Terry can steal turns by trying to do heavier burn knuckles, or maybe even walk forward, or maybe even skip a button, right? Like, so one of the things he can do is do this and then just do low strong into it. So he can just do this into that. And so even though you could have jabbed in between crack shoot and low strong, you're not expecting to, because he jabs instead. So there's a lot of ways for him to keep inside, but that's everybody, right? Cammy does the same thing. Aki does the same thing. They're all doing these things to try to keep themselves as close to you as possible. So yeah, then you could use EX crack shoot, like Sora said. But yeah, so I think Terry's going to be strong. I think he's going to be really, 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 really strong. But I don't think he's going to be dominating. I don't think he's going to come out as dominating as we thought he was. But I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see what happens when people use him in tournaments and stuff like that, and see if he really gets a lot of play and such. Yeah, solid A. And again, you know, as I've mentioned, I have the upper tier and the lower tier, right? Like, there is no chance that Terry is in that lower tier. There is zero chance that Terry is in that low tier, unless we find a bug that if you jab him 3 times and then hit, you know, heavy punch plus jab at the same time, it makes Terry freeze, and then he just gets there and gets eaten. He gets to die by a free combo, right? Like, and even if that was the case, that'll get patched out real fast. So again, zero chances that Terry is in the bottom tier. Clearly a very strong character. So yeah, but should we be worried that he's going to kill everybody? No, that's my initial impression. And it sounds like a lot of people are feeling that way too. So that's what we got for Terry. So again, I think he's going to be a good character. It's going to be fun. I hope a lot of people have a good time with him. I hope we see a lot of him in tournaments, because that'll be really, really cool. That'll be really cool. And also because, I mean, seriously, the love given to this character is ridiculous. He has so many crazy little, he's got so many random, like, Easter eggs. Like, so now we should have the bad English.
Oh, wait! Ground the code! What is the code?
Yep, there we go.
Wait!
Oops.
Wait!
There it is.
Wait!
There it is. So it's only in Japanese? That sucks.
Wait!
And when someone first posted it on the internet, Nakayama actually responded to it. It was like, man, you guys found that fast. But I was like, how are you not going to find that fast? People are going to burn themselves out like that easily every single time. It is true, though. It is true. But by default, I have everybody on English just for now. Just for now. But talk about the most annoying places to go. And look, why do I have to go to character screen?
Knuckle!
Like, does it load everything? Like, why does it load the voice sets ahead of time?
Street Fighter
like,
6.
Maybe it just does, so that way the matches are quicker to start up or something. I don't know. It's so bizarre. I don't understand it. Yeah, dude, this this menu is not the best for sure. But I'm cutting this whole part out. So anyways, so yeah, it's a cool little Easter egg right over there. You know, they have a lot of cool things in there. And again, as I said, I heard the world tour stuff is just like a massive love letter to everything SNK and Fatal Fury and stuff. And Olaf said he was like literally getting emotional playing it and seeing all the cool things they did. And the best part about it is, you know, they're only halfway done. Because like everything that you see, you're like, I'm surprised they didn't. Maya's still coming, dude. Maya's still coming, and so you know she's gonna be, you know, bringing along a whole bunch of other Fatal Fury references. So it's gonna be pretty cool. So Chusa Stoa, you have to set Terry to Japanese. You actually have to set him to Japanese voice, and then you can get it to make the right sound, basically. So can't wait to see Terry in tournaments. Can't wait to see him in matches. He's going to be fun. There's going to be people who are going to use him who are going to be able to style with him, and I think that's really, really cool. We'll see, though. We'll see. Because, like I said, I would say the same things about character like Luke. Like, Luke is really strong, and everybody stopped playing him. Everybody stopped playing him. Well, people will play him again, because we'll talk about this in just a second. So, in any case, that's my preview of Terry here. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And, you know, we'll see how right or wrong I am in the future. Like I said, I feel like I'm pretty prescient on this thing. I said Blanca was broken at the start, and everyone's like, whatever, Blanca's bad. And by the end of season 1, everyone's like, Blanca needs to be nerfed. Oh, man. But yeah, we'll see how Terry pans out. So, can't wait. And for those of you here, thank you for tuning in on Twitch. For those of you on YouTube, appreciate it. Make sure you like and follow, and leave a comment below. What you think Terry's gonna do, if you think he's gonna be ridiculous or broken or whatever like that. So there you go. And thank you once again for always supporting this podcast. But of course you do, because the day that this podcast graced your ears was the most important day of your life. But for me,
it was Tuesday.